Hi everybody, this is Kevin and welcome back to another manga review. And once again we're going to be taking a look at Fairy Tail with volume 16, which sees the start of the next arc. But before we get into that, I just wanted to do a quick little recap of the last volume, which was very action-packed. We had the final four remaining Wizards of Fairy Tail, Natsu, Gajeel, Urza, and Mystigan, go up against Loxus. And I gotta say, I was a little let down with Mystigan's showing, because he was holding his own against Loxus using his five-layered magic circle and all his crazy moves and whatnot. But then as soon as his identity was revealed, the fact that he looks identical to Jalal, and of course Urza saw him, he's like, oh, I can't let Urza see me, and he just ran away. It's like, what the fuck, dude? You were like evenly matched with Loxus, and you just ran away? I mean, I don't know, man. It's all gonna make sense later. And the afterward, Masha mentioned, oh, it's not exactly Jalal, but it is Jalal, and just keep reading to find out. So we'll stay tuned for that. And of course, Urza decided to leave the battle because, well, there was all those thunder lacrimas surrounding the town of Magnolia, and with the help of the recovered members of Fairy Tail, they all destroyed the lacrimas together, and it was up to just Natsu and Gajeel to defeat Loxus, which, of course, they did. They were working together and working well together. And then we had Levy and Freed show up to try and talk some sense into Loxus, essentially saying that Makarov had a heart attack because of you, and he's on his deathbed, and look at what you've done. And then Loxus decides to use fairy law, which doesn't exactly work because, well, he doesn't exactly deem his guildmates as enemies. I mean, he's having his disagreements with them, but they're not exactly mortal enemies like, say, Jose was to Makarov in the Phantom Lord arc. So we also learned that Loxus is also a Thunder Dragon Slayer as well, and now we know of 3 Dragon Slayers, Natsu, Gajeel, and Loxus, and they continued their battle, and essentially Natsu won the battle. So let's start right here. And you're probably wondering, like, what the hell's up with this cover? We'll get to that as the volume goes on, but these are all new characters. Well, some old characters. We got Leon and Sherry from, well, part of Lamia Scale now, another guild, and lots of good stuff as we get about halfway through the volume, so, and the start of the next arc. And this is actually Wendy and Carla. But we'll get to that. So, after the epic battle here, everyone's recovering. They're preparing for the Magnolia Harvest Festival, and everyone's wondering, like, what was that ruckus going on? I mean, the whole Cardia Cathedral blew up, too, right? The church. That was destroyed. Everyone was attacking each other in the streets, and all the citizens were like, what the hell's going on here? And then Polyuska's listening, like, I gotta go back to the forest. These people are nuts. That's why I'm a recluse, because F these people. So Urza says that, the master's been saved because of Polyuska, and everything's all back to normal. They're all recovering. They got their bandages on. Juvia's back. He got Happy and Blue. They're just eating their fish. And what is Plu's noise? Like, what the hell? What is he even saying? And then, of course, the most reckless of the two, all wrapped up. Look at Natsu. Look at Gajeel. And he's trying to talk, and he's just doing, he can't talk because his mouth is all wrapped up. And then Loki shows up, and there's like a thing between these two. I mean, we knew Loki was a bit of a player before, but ever since he's been with Lucy, he's like, oh, Lucy. And Happy kept saying, oh, you guys are really doing it, yeah. So then we see the shadow of Loxus, and he returns to the guild, also all bandaged and tattered up, and he says, where's the old man? They're like, get the hell out of here. And Urza's like, no, leave him be. Let's let him see his grandfather, and maybe he can make amends. And then Natsu appears and gets in front of Loxus. It's like, what are you going to do, Natsu? Look at you. And he's pointing the finger of score. And they're all silent. And Gajeel says, well, because it was Gajeel versus Natsu who defeated Loxus. And he says, 2 against 1 ain't a fair fight. I ain't losing next time. Someday you and me are fighting again, is what he said. I ain't losing next time. Didn't he just win more or less? I don't call it a win either. So the two of them with their big egos, they want to fight Loxus one-on-one. And as he's pointing, Loxus just sort of waves in acknowledgement, like, okay, one day we'll have our rematch. And you can see Natsu's eyes light up, and Urza blushes. Well, Natsu's blushing too. You can see that right there. So they're all getting ready for the Fantasia Festival, and Loxus makes his way into the recovery room where Makarov's laying. And they're not even looking at each other. And Makarov says, do you have any idea what you've done? Look me in the eye! Of course, what any kid would do, being, well, essentially his surrogate father, even though it's his grandfather, because his father's not in the picture. So he mentions the fact that, the guild here is family, and just because you have a disagreement with them Doesn't mean you have to take it out on your whole family. Take your disagreement with me and let's settle it like men. And what you did was wrong, and you can't go around doing that anymore, Laxus. You put everyone's lives in danger, and essentially we're going to kill the whole town. I mean, what the hell, dude? So Laxus says, well, I just wanted to make the guild stronger, you know? That was his whole end goal. And really, that's what he wanted to do, but he just has his own ways of going about it. So they continue to keep talking, and what Makarov says is he says, you're expelled. You know, he can't take it anymore just because the things that Laxus does, it's inexcusable. So he sends him on his way, and you see the look in Laxus' eyes, but he says, yeah, well, thanks for putting out with me, Gramps. I understand. Take care of yourself. Get out! And you know, Makarov didn't want to do that. I mean, look at him, he's crying. It's kind of sad, because at the end there, Laxus did understand after Fried and Levy gave him the pep talks, and even Natsu, as he was punching him, he gave him the pep talks. He's like, yeah, you know, what I did was really fucked up, but I got to take my punishment like a man and go my own way. So he's talking to the Raging Tribe, saying, look, I'm expelled, I got to go, and you guys shouldn't follow me, because you're all members of Fairy Tail too. Essentially, Fried is the one making the most strides, especially after his battle with Mira, and he sees the error in his ways, and he's really not a bad person at all. These two, on the other hand, I mean, they have a long way to go, and Laxus says that. He says, stay with the guild, stay with your family, and work to better yourselves while I go on my own path of redemption, which is exactly what they do. So take care, you guys. So here's the Fantasia Festival, and we got everyone. There's Kana, there's Wakaba with his smoke magic. I think they mentioned too that like Wakaba and Macau are always trying to hit on Kana, so I wonder if he's making that smoke signal for her. So they got this great festival, and also, because this is in the volume, in the back here, Mashua mentions that he extended this because it had to be a certain limit when it was in the weekly magazine, and he extended it for the volume because he really wanted to show how grand this parade was and everything. So it's an extended cut here, which I find very interesting, and you have all the ladies putting on their show and doing their dance and whatnot. You got Elfman transforming, and Mira, you know, she did her Satan's Soul Demon transformation. She transforms like a giant snake. And Juvia and Gray teaming up. Well, Juvia's doing the water, then Gray turns it to ice. And while all this is going on, you know, Laxus is watching Urza dancing with her swords, re-equipping. Look at this, her sexy re-equips. And this is pretty cool too. As we're watching this, we see Sho, Wally, and Miliana watching. And if I'm not mistaken, is that Mystigan? Because you see like the insignia on the face of Jalal, and he's trying to hide his face, of course. Or is that Jalal? Dun dun dun. So even Natsu joins the battle, or the parade rather, with his fire. And then you got, I was going to call him Macau, Makarov, doing his dance, and Laxus watching on and smiling. And then he gets a flashback to Makarov and young Laxus saying, well, I'm going to be watching, and when you see me in the crowd, put my finger up like this, that's when you know I'm watching you. So it'll mean that even if I can't see you, it'll be proof that I'm always looking for you. And Makarov's like, oh, Laxus, you're so sweet. Keep your eyes peeled, Gramps. And as everyone's putting on their show, you know, Laxus is watching, and he sees the finger go up, and look at his face. And Makarov's doing the insignia, the same move that, you know, young Laxus showed his grandfather all those years ago. And as he does that, everyone in the guild does it. You got Gray, Juvia, Levy, Lucy, Biska, Urza, Natsu with his bandaged finger, even Happy. And Laxus starts to cry. And dude, I was getting choked up reading. I'm like, holy shit, dude. Just seeing how evil and what a bad guy Laxus was in the past few volumes, and seeing this humanity and his reform already taking shape. Really great moment here. And Laxus starts to cry, Gramps, as he walks away. And that's young Laxus again. Look at the cheer and youthfulness he has there as he's walking away. I'll be looking out for you. Thanks. As he walks away. Really great moment there. Really great moment. And I really enjoyed reading it. So then it cuts over here. If you remember, I think it was 2 volumes ago, Gaggia was corresponding with like the spirit, basically saying that he's infiltrating the Fairy Tail Guild. And we meet this character here, Master Ivan, Laxus's father of the Dark Guild Raventail. Ho, ho, ho. So this was Makarov's son and Laxus's father. And he's got Gagio working as an agent to try and get info on Fairy Tail. But it turns out not really, because he's really a double agent. After Gagio met with Master Ivan, he returns to Makarov to give him the details of what Ivan is planning. So, Gagio really is a good guy and not a bad guy working for Master Ivan. So, pretty cool. I mean, I can't wait to see how this develops, what Makarov's son will be doing in the future. But that will take shape soon enough. So, Natsu's pissed off at Makarov for expelling Loxus, but it had to be done. I mean, you can't have Loxus going around trying to harm all these innocent people, his guildmates, and even the citizens of Magnolia, and expect nothing to happen. So, at some point, we'll have to find him sooner or later and see what happens. So, and you see Freed here. Remember, he had the long hair, and he cut his hair as punishment. So, I don't know, dude. Pretty crazy. And then Evergreen's, they're all trying to reform. Everyone from the Raging Tribe. Evergreen is modeling for Ritus. And what's his name? Bixlow. Biska is the gun mage. There's so many characters, I'm forgetting all their names. But Bixlow here and Happy are talking about how Loki and Lucy have a thing going on. And she says, as always, I'm surrounded by weirdos. So then Urza's writing in her journal about Jalal and trying to ask Makarov, like, who the hell really is Mystican? Is he Jalal? And just crazy stuff. And yeah, Makarov mentions, I never expected anyone to even know who he was. I never imagined he looked like someone you knew. Pretty interesting right there. So, they revealed who won the Miss Fairy Tale contest, and it was Urza with Lucy in second place and Juvia in third place. And Lucy only entered so that she'd get her rent money, but of course didn't. So she's sitting out on her way and just talking to Natsu, and they have another quest lined up for tomorrow. And as she's walking home, this creepy dude's following her. And look at this guy, just sneaking up behind her. And he takes off his robe there, and he says, it's me, it's your daddy. And it's actually her father, Jude Hartfilia. And if you remember, when she confronted him many volumes ago, it was him who instigated the whole Phantom Lord arc for trying to get her from running away. And he's this big wealthy guy who wanted her to marry so that he could give more money, etc., etc. And she told him to F off. I got my new family with Fairy Tail. And essentially, he went down his dark path after his wife, Layla, died. And he's back now. And he says, well, I've been bought out. I have no money. So give me some money, he says. But before he says that, he just wanted to see his daughter's face. And he mentions he has a new job lined out with like this banking guild. And he just needs a start. And if she can lend him 10,000 jewel. And she's like, no, get out of here, you creep. I haven't seen you in this long and you show up asking me for money? Screw you. Here I am swallowing my pride, asking nicely. So your duty, hand it over. And she's like, F you, leave me now. I'm leaving. So that's it. Starts crying again. And then it cuts over here to the next quest that they have, which is against this guy, Velvino, who's actually going to the guild that her father had mentioned. And she starts thinking about that and says, I got to go, see if my father's all right. So she uses Virgo here, who digs holes to transport there relatively quickly. Virgo is like this pervy character too. All she talks, she's like, "Oh, princess, would you punish me, please?" And then, like, just look at this shot right here. Like, trying to look up her skirt. Goddamn. So they go in here, and they're being held hostage. And Lucy shows up, and she gets all her celestial spirits and does Lucy kick. That's her famous move, and saves all the citizens. And she's like, "Where's my father?" And then at this point, her father's just walking up there now, so she got there too early and really didn't end up saving her father. She's very conflicted here because obviously it is her father. So she still does love the man, but he's a douche. So, I mean, she's very conflicted. So he shows up and he mentions that he walked all the way there and he's ready to start anew. And then she reveals, oh, you really weren't in danger. And then her father at this point is thinking, oh, she's here to protect me. My daughter really does care for me. So. And then at this bank, it's called Love and Lucky. And actually, this is where he got his first job, and also where he met Lucy's mother, his wife, Layla, and they named her Lucy because the K was missing, and it said Lucy. Bit of a funny story, and great drawing of Lucy there. How cute is she? So then the gang arrives, and they're like, oh, Lucy, you did it all by yourself? Oh, goddamn. So Anyway. Then we get a little cut over here to some dark guilds who are getting hassled from the Oracion Seis. And it cuts over here to member of the dark guild Oracion Seis Cobra. And he just says, the extinction of light is coming. So then to make more money, because Lucy's always trying to get money for her rent, they decide to work for the 8 Island restaurant. And they're all doing their best. You have Lucy in her sexy outfit. You have Gray, who doesn't wear clothes. Natsu, who, as he's serving the food, just starts eating it like a madman. And then Urza also going all in her sexy outfit to take, shall I take your orders? And actually, the restaurant is being run by former council member Mr. Yajima, who decided to quit the Magic Council after the big, conflict of interest with Jalal and Altir and all them betraying. Well, yeah, it was Seagrain, that was his name, but it turned out he was Jalal, and of course Altir, who was pulling the strings of Jalal, trying to revive Zareth, and they had infiltrated the Magic Council. And Yajima's like, F that, I don't need any of these politics in my life, I'm just going to go create my restaurant and do that. So that's exactly what happens. And as he thanks all the young fairy tale wizards for helping him, he thinks, Altir, where is she now? And when Altir cut to her a few volumes ago, how she was the one controlling Jalal, we saw a guild emblem on her back, right? So then it cuts to this flying spaceship here, or aircraft, and she says, oh, the Oracion Seis, they're on the move, I see. And she has her guild emblem herself, and she's talking to this dude here, Master Hades. And Altir is a member of the Dark Guild Grimoire Heart, and that's the master, so I guess she's second in command. And this dude, just look at him, Master Hades. Let them be. The official guilds, we will revive Zareth soon enough. Holy shit, dude. So this is where the series really starts to go in a dark turn, I think, with the Dark Guilds finally entering the fray. So we get a little graph here of the Balam Alliance, and the 3 most powerful Dark Guilds, the Oracion Seis, Grimoire Heart, and Tartaros. So it turns out that the guild that Aragorn, who we saw early on in the series, was a sub-dark guild under control of the Oracion Seis, and slowly but surely, those small guilds from the Oracion Seis have been being defeated, right? And so now the Oracion Seis is seeking retribution, and they all form this alliance here, the Balam Alliance. And just see from the graph here, it looks like the Seis has a good amount. It looks like Tartaros has the most, and they're losing small guilds. They're entering the fray here, and then also we have Reventail. That's Makarov's son's guild. So what they decided to do now is they're going to defeat the Oracion Seis because they're pretty weak now that they've had their lesser dark guilds being defeated. So Makarov reveals that they have an alliance here between 3 other guilds. You have Fairy Tail, Lamia Scale, Blue Pegasus, and Kate Shelter, and they're all going to team up to defeat the Seis. So it cuts over to them, and we have Cobra, and they mention the fact that the Oracion Seis is only 6 members. That's why it's called that. So, it's not a lot of people, but they're very powerful wizards in their own right. And they're talking about Nirvana, the March of Death. So, this is where they all... And then Lucy's like, why am I involved in this? I don't want to take on any dark guilds. But they got to do it anyway. So they make their way to Blue Pegasus's guild hall, who, if you may remember, Master Bob is the master of that guild. And they're introduced by the Tri-Men of Blue Pegasus. And they're all a bunch of pretty boys. We have Hibiki of the 100 Knights, Eve of the Holy Knights, and Ren of the Hollow Knights. And they're all in here doing their dance. And then, I don't know, Gray's no clothes again. And also, while they were traveling there, Natsu had his motion sickness. And Lucy's like, oh, our guys just don't compete with all these pretty boys. Oh, Titania, this way. They're all trying to smooze them, And then all this is going on. Now, boys, shall we leave it at that? What's that sweet-sounding voice? It's Ichiya-sama! Ichiya! How long has it been, Ursa-san? I never dreamed of you taking part in this. And we meet Ichiya of the Blue Pegasus. Just look at this fucking dude. What the hell, man? So he comes down and he calls Urza his honey. And I guess Urza and Ichiya had like a thing a while back. And as all this is going on, he does like this. He's sniffing people. Oh, what a lovely parfum, or perfume rather. What the hell, man? So they're all just going nuts, and Ichi's trying to like sniff Ursa, and Ichi punches him away. Goddamn. So as Ichi is flying around, this dude catches him, and it turns out here comes Leon, who's now a member of Lamia Scale. And he's gonna join with the allies to take on the Oracion Seis. And also we have Sherry, who we may remember from Galuna Island. And then also Jorah, one of the wizard saints, who is a member of Lamia Scale as well. So a lot of tough guys entering the front. And while this is going on, like Ichi is getting his ass kicked. Like Urza's punching around, Natsu's punching him, and he's just like, I don't know what the hell his deal is, dude. Hilarious. So then the final member enters, this young little girl here who just trips and falls. And this is Wendy from Kate Shelter. Wendy Marvel is her name. So here are all of our allies here. Fairy Tail, Blue Pegasus, Lamia Scale, and Kate Shelter. And then she also has a cat companion similar to Happy, named Carla. And Happy's in love. So, and then, like, what a bunch of pervs. They're, like, hitting on this little girl now. Like, oh, she's so cute. Oh, a small one. Let me get you some orange juice. Oh, men. And that's Ichi's catchphrase, too. Anytime he goes around, he does, like, this thing of his hands. And he just says, men. Hello, men. So, he reveals the plan that we're going to take down the Nirvana. And they give the little details on who the Oracion Seis is. The 6 members. We have Cobra, who uses poisonous snakes. Racer, who's very fast. This guy, Hot Eye, who, I don't know, he's like, look at his hairdo. the one female member, Angel. Midnight, who we don't know much about him. And then the commander, Brain. So, they're going to take them all down, and they have this giant ship called the Christina. So, they're all going to use that ship to their advantage and defeat them and Nirvana. So, they set out on their way, and everyone runs to the Christina with Jorah and Ichiya staying behind so that they can talk and discuss their plans. And then, whoa, Ichiya stabs Jorah. What the hell, man? And it turns out it's not really Ichiya, and it's Angel, who has these little helpers here who are actually celestial spirits, Gemini, who can copy whoever they've seen before, and they took the form of Ichiya, and, well, they just took out one of the strongest members of their alliance there, the wizard Saint Jorah. So, and it cuts to Ichiya, who is essentially just the gag character, joke character, who was defeated and taking a piss. And, you know, we got the sexy babe Angel here going after them all. So, you know, they can't really work together. I mean, obviously the guild members, you know, the people in Fairy Tail work together, the people in Blue Pegasus work together, etc., etc. And they're all running around. They can't team up quite yet. Like, these guys, what the hell do they even do? They keep hitting on Lucy. And not really a whole lot going on. So the Christina is actually blasted from the sky. Their whole weapon's defeated. And the Oracion Seis shows up right here. Great drawing of the whole group here. I mean, I love Racer's outfit. He has like a tracksuit. And it says the Oracion Seis, Balam Alliance, Grimoire Heart, and Tartarus. And, you know, Midnight's asleep here. But yeah, I just love this drawing of all the characters. They definitely do look very menacing. So here they are, and, you know, they got all their things going on, and Angel reveals that we took out Jorah and Ichiya already, so you guys are 2 down, so it's only 10 of you now, and they keep going to fight them, and you see Angel uses Gemini to turn it into another Lucy, and they just completely overpower them. So, Urza goes up against Cobra, who appears to probably be the strongest of this whole group, and Cobra, with his snake there, bites Urza and inflicts her with poison, and they're all wiped out. I mean, that's it. And the Seis decide they're just going to finish him off once and for all. Brain uses Dark Rondo. And just as he's ready for the finishing blow, he sees this little girl here, and you see his face. What's wrong, Brain? Why did you stop in the middle of your magic? Wendy! So he knows who Wendy is. To be continued. So, great volume. A lot of great, well, not great, but strange tonal shifts. How we had, like, the sad moment in the beginning, right? Really sad with Phloxus leaving the group. And then we got a lot of great info dumps with Altair and Master Hades of Grimoire Heart, the name drop of the Bomb Alliance, Tartaros, and the next threat, the Oracion Seis. And then just meeting all the new characters, particularly Ichiya, who I think is hilarious. Hopefully he appears again. So anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below, and stay tuned for more videos coming soon. Have a great day, everybody.